Hello, my name is Margaret Minnow, and welcome to the first edition of Harry's House. Today we have Harry Harlow himself, and he has a lot to share with us, so listen up. So Harry, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Marge, I was born in Fairfield, Iowa in 1905, around the time when dinosaurs roamed the earth. My mother was Mabel Rock, and my father was Alonzo Harlow Israel, and I had 3 other brothers in my family.
Well, Harry, I was mostly just wondering about your studies, because from what I know, people don't really care about your life in Fairfield, Iowa before them.
Actually, if you did your research correctly, you'd see that from my experiments, how you are raised when you are younger plays a large role on the person that you become.
You got me there. I see you went to Reed College in Portland, Oregon for a year. Then you transferred to Stanford University because of some kind of test?
You are correct. A special aptitude test I scored highly on to get admission to Stanford. When I first got there, I was an English major, but after a semester, my grades were terrible. But I realized psychology suited me more better.
More better, huh? No wonder you got bad grades in English. So let's move on to your so-called experiments. Monkeys, how did that start?
Well, after I received my bachelor's and PhD in psychology, I was immediately recruited to be a member of the University of Wisconsin faculty. And I started the psychology primate laboratory.
Wow, you sound like kind of a big deal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, let's hear about this surrogate mothers experiment.
Ah, yes, that was one of my favorites. Well, I worked with the nourishment for the baby born. I would take them from their mothers and provide them with 2 fake mothers to choose from.
Now, what do you mean by fake mothers?
I provided each newborn monkey with 2 surrogate figures that resembled their mother. One was made out of wire and the other was made out of terry cloth, much like the skin of the mother monkey. I know what you're thinking. It's easy to choose between sleeping on chicken wire or sleeping with a blanket, but the wire monkey provided the nourishment for the baby monkey.
So, obviously the baby monkeys would choose the wire mother because it needs nourishment to survive.
Actually, Marge, the monkeys only went to the wire mother to feed themselves, but they would cling to the cloth mother for comfort and when they were scared.
Interesting. So what does that all mean?
You see, at the time, psychologists believed that if you held your children too much, or if you had too much bodily contact with them, they would grow up to be spoiled and clingy. The monkeys that were around the wire mother suffered from different health conditions that the monkeys who also received the cloth mother did not. So the study shows comfort is needed for monkeys in order to survive. Parents shouldn't refrain from holding their children as infants because we need affection to lead a healthy lifestyle.
Well, according to this article, clinging is a matter of survival in rhesus monkeys. Nourishment is more important for humans. So you can't apply what you learned from these monkeys to humans, can you?
You got me there, Margaret. After my experiment was analyzed by a number of different psychologists, they realized rhesus monkeys weren't the best mirror to human babies.
So then what exactly was your impact on psychology?
I'm glad you asked. My next experiment involved different groups of monkeys and taking the baby monkeys and separating them from their mothers right away to live in partial isolation, or complete isolation for months at a time. Both groups of monkeys would resort to extreme behavior like self-mutilation, eating difficulties, loss of movement, and blank staring.
That's pretty harsh. Did the monkeys even survive?
They actually did, but when they grew up, they had trouble mating, and if they did end up having babies, they would neglect them.
Oh, wow. Now, how did you apply this to psychology?
Well, my team and I studied the social and cognitive development of the rhesus monkeys that were isolated and rhesus monkeys that grew up with their mother and other fellow monkeys. We came to the conclusion that how the monkeys were raised and the amount of care they received from the other monkeys set the framework for the amount of care they would provide or show for other monkeys. And even though the lifestyles of monkeys are different from humans, we can still conclude the fact that if our peers and families are fond of us growing up, we'll be fond of other people when we grow up. Whereas if we're neglected growing up, then we won't be as accepting to new relationships later in life.
Oh, wow. That's pretty deep. It seems here that you received some awards for your work.
Oh, nothing special. Just the National Medal of Science in 1967, the Gold Medal from American Psychological Foundation in 1973, the Howard Crosby Warren Medal in 1956, but there's nothing to brag about. But some psychologists do think I opened up the door to solve the mystery of love.
Mystery of love? Well, here it looks like you divorced your wife, Clara, and in the same year, you married Margaret Cooney, who joined you in all your monkey work. Then, after Margaret died, you remarried the wife you left for Margaret the next year? Looks like you got love all figured out, Harry.
I think we'll save that for another episode, Marge.
You're right. Looks like that's all the time we have for today. Join us next week on Harry's House as we try to solve the puzzling love triangle in Harry Harlow's life. See you next time.